You are now listening to The Ring of the Fire, The Eruption Within a Marriage, written by Jason Stewart, and narrated by Grace and Rodney. Part 1, The Tremors. The morning Sofia Elizondo decided her marriage might be dying, she was standing in her kitchen in Escazú, watching her husband Miguel butter his toast with the same methodical precision he brought to everything. His accounting spreadsheets, his Friday golf games, his lovemaking, back and forth, edge to edge, until every millimeter was covered, not a spot of bread left bare. She wanted to scream. Instead, she poured herself more coffee, the rich Costa Rican blend that her suegra sent from the family finca in Tarazú. The steam rose between them like a wall, and Miguel didn't look up. He never looked up anymore. "I'm thinking of going back to teaching," Sofia said, surprised at her own voice. She hadn't planned to say it. The words just erupted, small and contained, like the first puff of smoke from Poas before a real show. Miguel paused mid-butter.
"Teaching? Amor, we talked about this. The boys need you here."
"The boys are 12 and 14. They need me to pick them up from football practice and make them gallo pinto. They don't need me to sit here all day planning dinner parties for your colleagues." Now he looked up, and Sofia saw something flicker in his eyes. Annoyance? Fear? She couldn't tell anymore. There was a time when she could read Miguel's face like her mother read weather patterns in the Central Valley, instinctively, accurately. Now his expressions were foreign to her, like reading signs in a language she'd forgotten.
"I provide well for this family. You don't need to work."
"Maybe I need to work. Did you consider that?" The kitchen filled with a silence so thick Sofia could hear the gardener's machete slicing through banana leaves outside. Thwack, thwack, thwack.
"We'll talk about this later. I have a meeting at 8:30.
He kissed her forehead. That's what it had become, forehead kisses, the kind you give your grandmother, and left. Sofia heard Miguel's Mercedes start, heard it crunch down their gravel driveway, heard the automatic gate beep and swing open. The sounds of Miguel leaving had become the soundtrack of her life. She was 41 years old. She had been married for 16 years. She had 2 beautiful sons, a house in one of San Jose's nicest suburbs, a housekeeper who came 3 times a week, and a husband who had never once raised his voice to her in anger. She had everything. She had nothing. Sofia dumped the rest of her coffee in the sink and watched it spiral down the drain, dark and bitter. Through the window she could see the Cerros de Escazú rising in the morning haze, those ancient hills that had witnessed so many lives, so many stories. She wondered what they would say about hers. Would they even notice? One more woman in one more beautiful house, slowly disappearing. Her phone buzzed, a text from her sister Natalia.
"Coffee today? I'm in Escazú for a dental appointment."
Sofia typed back quickly. "Yes, desperately, yes. Bagelman at 11? 3 dots appeared, then, "You okay?" Sofia stared at the question. Was she okay? How do you answer that when you don't even know what okay means anymore? "Fine, just need to see your face." She set the phone down and looked around her kitchen. The Italian marble countertops, the fancy espresso machine Miguel bought last Christmas, the collection of pottery from Sarchi her mother-in-law kept giving her. Everything in its place. Everything is beautiful. Everything is suffocating. The ring on her finger caught the light, the diamond Miguel had presented to her 16 years ago on the beach in Manuel Antonio. She remembered that day with painful clarity, the sunset turning the Pacific into liquid gold, the warm sand between her toes, the way Miguel's hands shook when he opened the box. He had been 26 and she 25, both of them so young, so stupid, so in love. Where had those people gone? Sophia twisted the ring, pulling it over her knuckle. It came off easily, too easily. She'd lost weight recently, without trying, without even noticing. She set the ring on the counter, and for a moment it felt like freedom. Then it just felt like betrayal. She put it back on. Her phone buzzed, a text from her sister Natalia. Begelman was crowded with the Eskazoo lunch crowd, young tech workers from the call centers, wealthy housewives in yoga pants and full makeup, American expats speaking loud English over their pastrami on rye. Sophia spotted Natalia immediately, her wild curly hair impossible to miss even in a crowd. "You look terrible," Natalia said, hugging her. "Buenos días a todos." "I'm serious. When's the last time you slept?" Sophia slid into the booth. "I sleep. Sleeping and sleeping well are not the same thing, hermanita." Natalia studied her with those sharp eyes that had always seen too much. 3 years younger, Natalia married late, married for love, married a musician who played in jazz clubs in Barrio Escalante and made her laugh until she couldn't breathe. They were broke and blissfully happy. Sophia tried not to hate her for it. "Miguel wants another baby," Sophia said suddenly. She hadn't meant to start there, but the words were lava, building pressure, needing release. Natalia's eyebrows shot up. "Sophie, the boys are almost grown." "I know." "What did you tell him?" "I haven't. He brought it up 3 weeks ago, very casually, like he was suggesting we repaint the living room. Said it would be nice to have a daughter. He's already planned it out. We could convert the guest room, hire a full-time nanny. He's even researched the best private schools." "And what do you want?" The question hung between them like a hummingbird, fragile and urgent. What did she want? When was the last time anyone asked her that? When was the last time she asked herself?
I want... Sophia started, then stopped. The waitress appeared with menus, smiling her professional smile. They ordered, Natalia the Monte Cristo, Sophia a Caesar salad she wouldn't eat. When the waitress left, Natalia reached across the table and took her hand. "Talk to me." I don't know how to explain it. From the outside, everything looks perfect. Miguel is a good man. He doesn't drink too much, doesn't chase other women. He's good to the boys. He provides. God, how he loves to remind me that he provides. But I'm dying, Nati. Slowly, quietly, with nice furniture and a cleaning lady. I'm dying of being comfortable. Natalia squeezed her hand tighter. Then stop being comfortable. Easy for you to say. You married Diego when you were 31, when you knew who you were. I married Miguel when I was a baby. I went straight from Papa's house to our apartment in Hermosor. I've never lived alone. I've never had my own bank account, my own plans, my own anything. So change it. The word came out harder than she meant it to. How? How do I change it, Nati? Do I just announce at dinner, "By the way, family, I'm not happy, I need to blow up our entire lives"? The boys would be devastated. Miguel would... I don't even know what Miguel would do. Probably look at me with that confused expression like I'm a budget that doesn't balance. Does he know you feel this way? Sophia laughed, a sound with no humor in it. Miguel doesn't ask how I feel. He asks if I remembered to schedule the boys' dentist appointments, if the gardener trimmed the hedge properly, if his mother called about Sunday lunch. He manages me like I'm another item on his to-do list. Check wife handled, move on to the next task. Their food arrived. Natalia bit into her sandwich, giving Sophia space to breathe, to collect herself. Outside the window, San Jose traffic crawled past. Buses belching black smoke, motorcycles weaving between cars, the organized chaos of a city that never quite decided what it wanted to be. I almost kissed someone. Natalia stopped chewing. What? Last month at Mafe's birthday party, remember? You couldn't come because Diego had a gig. There was this man, a friend of Fernando's from the university. We talked for hours. Actually, Nati, about books and politics and whether Costa Rica should abolish its borders. Stupid stuff, important stuff. And at the end of the night, when everyone was drunk on guaro and dancing to salsa, he looked at me and I could see it. He wanted to kiss me. God, I wanted him to. Did you? No, I walked away. I went to the bathroom and stared at myself in the mirror and thought, this is your life, Sofia Elizondo de Molina. You don't get to kiss strange men at parties. You have 2 sons and a mortgage and a husband who remembers to pay the electric bill on time. That's the saddest reason not to kiss someone I've ever heard. It's the only reason I have.
Natalia set down her sandwich and leaned forward. Sophie, I'm going to say something, and I need you to really hear me, okay? Miguel is not the villain in this story, but neither are you. You're both good people in a marriage that maybe has run its course, and that's just sad. It's not dramatic or scandalous, it's just sad. Mama would die if I left him. Mama survived Costa Rica's civil wars, Papa's heart attack, and my decision to marry a musician. She'll survive this too. It's not the same. You're right, it's not, because this is about you, not me, not Mama, not Miguel. You. When's the last time you did something for you? Sophia thought about it, really thought about it. I enrolled in that pottery class in Sarchi 2 years ago. I went to 1 session, and Miguel said it was impractical. I'd get clay under my fingernails. How would I cook dinner? What if I'd burned myself in the kiln? He had 100 reasons why it was a bad idea. And you listened. I always listen. That's my problem. I'm so good at listening, at accommodating, at making everyone else comfortable, that I forgot I was supposed to be a person too. The conversation shifted after that and became lighter. Natalia talked about Diego's upcoming performance at Hoxton, about her new job teaching English at a language academy in Los Yoses, about their plans to maybe, possibly, think about having a baby. But Sophia could see the worry in her sister's eyes and could feel the weight of unspoken questions. They hugged goodbye in the parking lot, and Natalia held on longer than usual. You don't have to figure it all out today. Just promise me you'll start figuring it out. Sophia promised. She drove home through Escazú's winding roads, past million-dollar houses perched on hillsides, past gated communities like Bosques de Lindora and Valle del Sol, monuments to aspirational living. She had aspired, she had arrived, and now she was trapped in her own success. That night, Miguel came home at 7:30, exactly on time as always. The boys were in their rooms doing homework, or pretending to do homework, while watching YouTube videos about football. Sophia made arroz con pollo, Miguel's favorite, because she couldn't think of what else to do with her hands.
Smells good.
Miguel said, kissing her forehead again. That damn forehead. They ate dinner as a family, the 4 of them around the table like a television advertisement for domestic happiness. The boys talked about their day, about the math test and the football game on Saturday, and could they please go to the new trampoline park in Forum? Miguel dispensed advice and rules and approval. Sophia passed the salad and poured more juice and smiled at the right moments. After dinner, after the boys retreated back to their digital worlds, Miguel found her in the kitchen, loading the dishwasher.
About this morning, the teaching thing.
Sophia kept her back to him, rinsing plates under hot water. Yes?
I've been thinking about it. If you really want to teach, maybe you could do some private tutoring from home. That way you're still available for the boys, but you have something to occupy your time.
Occupy your time, like she was a bored child who needed a hobby. I was thinking more like a real position, at a school, full-time.
Full-time? But who would handle things here? The grocery shopping, the boys' schedules, the house maintenance.
I don't know, Miguel. Maybe we'd figure it out. Together?
Together? Sophia, I work 10-hour days. I can't also manage the household.
I work 10-hour days, just my hours aren't in an office.
That's different.
How? Miguel opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again.
It just is. This is how we've always done things. Why change it now?
Because I'm suffocating, Sophia wanted to scream. Because I can't remember the last time you looked at me like I was more than a service provider. Because we have sex once a month with the lights off and you finish in 6 minutes and we never ever talk about how sad that is.
Sophia thought to herself.
Never mind. You're right, it was a silly idea. She saw relief flood his face and something inside her cracked a little more. Miguel touched her shoulder, a brief, performative gesture, and left to watch the news in his study. Sophia finished loading the dishwasher, wiped down the counters, checked that the doors were locked, and turned off the lights, the rituals of a life on autopilot. In bed later, Miguel reached for her in the dark. His hand found her hip, slid up her breast, a wordless question. Sophia stared at the ceiling, at the shadows from the street lamp filtering through their curtains, and thought about the man at Moffer's party. He thought about how he'd asked her opinion on things, how he'd laughed at her jokes, how he'd seen her as a person instead of a role. Not tonight. I have a headache. It was a cliché, the oldest excuse in the book, but Miguel accepted.
Part 2. The pressure builds. The next few weeks passed in their usual rhythm. Breakfast, school runs, grocery shopping, boys' football practice, dinner preparation, homework supervision, sex on Friday night with the lights off. Sophia moved through her days like a ghost, present but not really there. She started taking long walks in the late afternoons, after the boys got home, but before Miguel returned. She'd put on her sneakers and head into Escazú's hills, climbing the steep roads until her legs burned and her lungs screamed. Up there, with the city spread below her and the mountains rising behind, she could breathe. She could think. One Thursday, she walked farther than usual, all the way to a small café she'd never noticed before, tucked into a corner near the Multiplaza. It was called La Palabra, the word, and through the windows she could see mismatched furniture, walls covered in book spines, people hunched over laptops and notebooks. Longing, contrast. It looked alive in a way her house never did. Sophia went in. The air smelled like coffee and old paper and possibility. A woman about her age stood behind the counter, tattoos covering both arms, gray streaks in her black hair. She smiled at Sophia like they were old friends.
What can I get you?
Just coffee, please. Black.
Brave choice. Our coffee is strong.
Good. While the woman prepared her drink, Sophia studied the walls. There were flyers for poetry readings, painting classes, book clubs, salsa lessons, evidence of lives being lived with intention, with passion. She felt a pang of something, envy, grief, so sharp it almost hurt.
Here you go.
The woman set down a mug the size of a small bowl. I'm Valentina. I own this place. Sophia. First time here? Yes, I was walking and saw the light. Valentina's smile deepened. Lots of people say that. It's the lamps. I got them from an old church in Cartago. They draw people in. You look like you need more than coffee. Is it that obvious? I've been running this cafe for 12 years. You learn to read people. You've got that look, like you're searching for something, but you're not sure what. Sophia should have been offended, should have made polite excuses and left. Instead, she found herself saying, "My marriage is dying." The words hung in the air between them. Valentina didn't flinch, didn't offer platitudes. She just nodded slowly, like Sophia had told her the weather forecast. That's heavy.
You want to talk about it, or you want to sit in that corner booth and not talk about it? Either way is fine. I don't know. Then take your time figuring it out. The coffee's on the house. First-time customers who are brave enough to tell the truth always drink free. Sophia took her mug to the corner booth, tucked into a nook with a view of the street. She sat there for 2 hours, sipping her coffee, watching people come and go, listening to the ambient noise of life happening around her. No one bothered her. No one needed her to be anything. She was just a woman in a cafe, drinking coffee, existing. It was the most peaceful she'd felt in years.
When she finally got up to leave, Valentina was helping another customer but caught her eye and waved. Sophia waved back, and it felt like the beginning of something, though she couldn't say what. She walked home as the sun began its descent, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink that reminded her of the sunsets she and Miguel used to watch from their apartment balcony when they were newlyweds. They'd drink cheap wine and make plans, travel to Europe, buy a house with a garden, have 3 or 4 kids, and grow old holding hands. Such simple dreams. When had they stopped dreaming together? Miguel was already home when she arrived, earlier than usual. He was in the kitchen, staring at the empty stove with an expression of bewilderment.
Where were you? It's almost 7.
I went for a walk, lost track of time.
But dinner?
I didn't make dinner. I didn't think about it. Miguel looked at her like she'd announced she was joining a cult.
You always make dinner.
Maybe I shouldn't always make dinner.
Sophia, what's going on with you lately? You're acting strange.
Strange how?
I don't know. Different. Distant. Is this about the teaching thing again? Because I told you.
It's not about the teaching thing, Miguel. It's about everything. It's about us. The word us seemed to surprise him. He set down his briefcase, gave her his full attention for the first time in weeks.
What about us?
Sophia took a breath. This was it. The moment. She could back down, apologize, order pizza, return to their regularly scheduled programming, or she could tell the truth. When's the last time we had a real conversation?
We talk every day.
We exchange information. That's not the same thing. When's the last time you asked me how I'm feeling, what I'm thinking about? What do I dream about?
I ask you things.
You ask me if I called the plumber, if the boys turned in their homework, if I bought more coffee. Those aren't conversations about us, Miguel. They're logistics.
Okay. How are you feeling?
It was such a clumsy attempt that Sophia almost laughed. Almost. I'm feeling like we're roommates who occasionally have obligatory sex. I'm feeling like I've disappeared into being your wife and the boy's mother, and I can't remember who Sophia actually is. Miguel's face went through several expressions: confusion, defensiveness, something that might have been hurt.
I thought you were happy. You never said you weren't happy.
Would you have heard me if I did?
That's not fair.
Maybe not, but it's true.
They stood there in their beautiful kitchen with their granite countertops and stainless steel appliances, and the distance between them felt insurmountable. The boys were upstairs, probably hungry, probably wondering why they smelled no dinner cooking. Life was demanding their attention. Life was always demanding their attention.
I don't know what you want from me.
Miguel said finally, and he sounded tired, genuinely tired. I want you to see me.
I do see you.
No, you see your wife, the role I play. I want you to see me, the person I was before we got married, the person I could still be. I want you to be curious about me again.
Sophia.
Miguel ran his hair through his hair, a gesture of frustration he'd had since they were dating.
I don't understand what's happening. Everything was fine, and now suddenly it's not?
It wasn't sudden, Miguel. It's been happening for years. I just finally noticed. A cell phone buzzed in his pocket. He glanced at it reflexively, then caught himself.
Sorry, work.
Answer it. You always do.
It's not. This conversation is important.
Then prove it. Ignore the phone. He hesitated. The phone buzzed again. Sophia watched him wage war with himself, and in that moment, she knew what he would choose. She'd always known.
It's Roberto, the Fernandez account. I really should.
Take it.
Are you sure?
Yes, Miguel, take it. Answer Roberto. Answer everyone who needs you. You're very good at answering everyone except me. He stepped into the hallway, phone already to his ear, his voice shifting into work mode.
Roberto, hey, what's going on?
Sophia stood alone in her kitchen and felt something fundamental shift inside her. Not breaking exactly, more like settling, like a building finally accepting its cracks. She ordered pizza for the boys, ate 2 slices standing at the counter, went to bed early. Miguel came in around midnight, easing into bed carefully, trying not to wake her. She pretended to be asleep. It was easier than talking. The following week, Sophia went back to La Palabra, and then again 2 days later, and then it became a regular thing. 3-4 times a week, she'd walk to the cafe and spend an hour or 2 in her corner booth. Valentina would bring her coffee without being asked, and would occasionally sit with her for a few minutes between customers. "Does your husband know you came here?" Valentina asked one afternoon. "No." "Are you going to tell him?" "I don't know. Should I?" Valentina shrugged. "Not for me to say, but I will say this. Secrets are heavy. Sometimes we need to carry them for a while, but eventually they weigh us down." One Thursday, there was a poetry reading at La Palabra. Valentina had mentioned it casually a few days before, and Sophia found herself thinking about it constantly. Poetry readings. They were not part of her life in Escazú, her life of school runs and dinner parties and being Mrs. Molina.
But Thursday came, and instead of going home after her walk, Sophia stayed. The cafe was filled with people. Young artists, university students, middle-aged women like herself who looked like they too were searching for something. A man with silver hair and kind eyes stood at the makeshift stage and read poems about love and loss and the Pacific Ocean. His words were beautiful, sad, and honest. After the reading, people mingled. Valentina introduced Sophia to others, a painter named Lucas, a writer named Carolina, a high school teacher named Fernando. They talked about art and politics and whether Costa Rica had lost its soul to tourism. Someone made a joke about gringos buying up all the beach property, and everyone laughed with the kind of comfortable bitterness that comes from shared frustration. Sophia realized with a start that she was happy, not content, not comfortable, happy. The emotion felt foreign, like hearing your name in a crowded room after years of silence. "You should come to our book club. We meet every other Tuesday, reading Garcia Marquez right now, 100 Years of Solitude. You know it? I read it in university, a long time ago. Then read it again. Everything's different the second time. Trust me." Sophia took Carolina's number, not sure if she'd actually text her, but liking the possibility. When she finally left the cafe, it was after 10. She'd been there for 4 hours. She hadn't thought about dinner or homework or whether Miguel needed anything. She'd just been Sophia, talking and laughing and existing as herself. The house was quiet when she got home. Miguel's car was in the driveway, all the lights off except the one in their bedroom. She found him reading in bed, still dressed in his work clothes minus the tie.
Where were you?
He set down his book, something about financial management, at a poetry reading.
What?
Poetry reading at a cafe in Escazú.
Since when do you go to poetry readings?
Since today.
But it's Thursday. The boys at football, did you forget?
No, I arranged for Carlos's mom to bring them home. I texted you about it.
You did?
Yes, Miguel, this morning. You responded with a thumbs up. He had the grace to look embarrassed.
Sorry. Work has been crazy. The Fernandez account is...
I don't care about the Fernandez account. The words came out sharper than she intended, and Miguel recoiled slightly.
Okay. I was just explaining.
You're always explaining, always justifying, always working. When's the last time you did something that wasn't productive, that wasn't about money or advancement or responsibility?
That's not fair. I work hard for this family.
I know you do. I know. But what's it all for, Miguel? The big house, the nice cars, the private schools. Is that all there is? Just accumulating more and more stuff while we drift further and further apart?
Dios mío, Sophia, where is this coming from? You sound like you want to throw away our entire life.
Maybe I do. The words fell like stones between them. Miguel stared at her, his book forgotten, his face a mixture of shock and something else. Fear, maybe, or anger. She couldn't tell.
You don't mean that.
I might.
Sophia, are you having an affair?
The question was so absurd, she almost laughed.
No.
Then what is this crisis you're having?
I'm not having a crisis, Miguel. I'm waking up. There's a difference.
Waking up to what?
To the fact that I'm 41 years old and I don't know who I am. To the fact that we've been married 16 years and I'm not sure we actually like each other anymore. We love each other, sure, in that comfortable, habitual way you love your childhood home, even after you've moved away. But like? Enjoy each other's company? Look forward to seeing each other? I can't remember the last time we had that. Miguel's jaw worked silently. When he finally spoke, his voice was tight.
So what do you want me to do? Quit my job, start going to poetry readings, pretend I'm someone I'm not?
I want you to be curious about me, about yourself, about what our life could be instead of just what it is.
That's not how life works, Sophia. We're not kids anymore. We have responsibilities. The boys, the mortgage, your parents, my mother. We can't just throw all that away because you're bored.
Bored. The word stung because it was both true and completely inadequate. I'm going to sleep. In the guest room.
Sophia.
Good night, Miguel. She left before he could respond, taking refuge in the small bedroom they kept for when Miguel's mother visited. It was decorated in soft blues and whites, impersonal and calm. Sophia lay on top of the covers and stared at the ceiling and wondered if this was what freedom felt like, cold and uncertain and terrifying.
Part 3. The Fault Lines. After that night, something shifted. Miguel started coming home earlier. He asked her questions, surface-level things at first, but questions nonetheless. How was her day? What did she do? Did she go to that cafe again? He was trying. Sophia could see that. But his trying felt effortful, like someone following a recipe without understanding the underlying technique. The tense atmosphere was part of the discussion. The boys sensed something was off. At dinner, their usual banter had a careful edge to it, like they were walking through a room full of glass. Sebastian, the older one, asked Sophia if everything was okay. She told him yes, everything was fine. He didn't believe her. She could see it in his eyes, but he didn't push. Sophia joined the book club. Every other Tuesday evening, she went to Carolina's apartment in San Pedro and sat with 6 other women discussing Garcia Marquez's magical realism and drinking cheap wine from Mospor Menos. They talked about the books, yes, but also about their lives, their marriages, their frustrations, their dreams. Most of them were married. All of them felt some version of what Sophia felt, the slow erosion of self that comes from years of being someone's wife, someone's mother, someone's anything but themselves. The problem isn't our husbands, it's the system. We're raised to be accommodating, to shrink ourselves to fit into their lives, and then one day we wake up and we're 40 and we've disappeared. So what do? We remember how to take up space. We practice being selfish in small ways. We rebuild ourselves from the inside out. The advice was both empowering and impossible.
How do you rebuild yourself while still maintaining all the roles that depend on you staying the same? How do you expand while everyone around you needs you to stay small and manageable and predictable? Sophia started small. She signed up for a watercolor class at a studio in Santa Ana. She told Miguel she was going and didn't ask permission. He looked confused but didn't object. Every Wednesday evening, she painted, badly at first, then less badly. The teacher, an older woman named Rosa, who had studied in Spain, encouraged her to embrace imperfection, to let the water and pigment do what they wanted instead of controlling everything. You're very careful, too careful. Art requires risk. Let go a little. Let go a little. Sophia thought about those words as she drove home, the drying painting on the seat beside her. Her whole life had been about control, managing schedules and expectations and everyone else's needs. Letting go felt dangerous. It also felt necessary. At home, Miguel was putting the boys to bed. She could hear him reading to them. He still did that sometimes, especially with Sebastian, even though at 14 he was too old for bedtime stories. But he liked it, and Miguel knew that, so he kept doing it. It was one of the things Sophia loved about him, one of the reasons she'd fallen for him in the first place. Miguel was fundamentally good. That made everything harder.
If he were a villain, an adulterer, an abuser, a drunk, leaving would be easy. But Miguel was just a decent man who'd stopped seeing her as a person and started seeing her as a function. And maybe she'd let that happen. Maybe she'd been complicit in her own disappearance. She hung her painting on the refrigerator beside Sebastian's old-school drawings and Mateo's football schedule. It was a small act of rebellion, her art, her thing, claiming space in their shared domestic landscape. When Miguel came downstairs, he paused at the refrigerator.
You made that?
In my class.
It's good.
It's not, actually, but I enjoyed making it. He opened the fridge, pulled out a beer, and studied the painting more carefully.
It's nice that you're doing this, the painting thing.
I'm not doing it to be nice, Miguel. I'm doing it for me.
I know. That's what I meant.
But it wasn't what he meant. Not really. Sophia could tell. Miguel saw her hobbies as ornamental, as something to fill her time and make her happy so their life could continue smoothly. He didn't see them as essential, as part of her reclaiming herself. They were speaking different languages, she realized. They'd been speaking different languages for years. November arrived with unseasonable rain. The streets flooded in the usual places, the underpass near Hospital Mexico, the intersection in Desamparo. Everywhere water had been flowing for centuries and humans had decided to build anyway. Sophia loved the rain. She loved how it made everything smell green and alive, how it demanded you pay attention to nature's power instead of your phone notifications and email schedules. One Saturday, with the boys at football despite the drizzle, and Miguel at the office finishing a project, Sophia drove to the Central Market in San Jose. She hadn't been there in years. It was too crowded, too chaotic, too everything that her Escazú life avoided. But she wanted chaos. She wanted to feel the pulse of real Costa Rica, not the sanitized version behind gated communities. The market assaulted her senses immediately. Vendors shouting prices, the smell of fresh pescado and ripe mango and sizzling chifrio, salsa music blaring from tinny speakers. She wandered through the narrow aisles past stalls selling everything from herbal remedies to cell phone cases to fresh flowers wrapped in newspaper. An older woman with weathered hands tried to sell her a bundle of culantro. Sophia bought it even though she had no use for it. Que Dios la bendiga, mi amor. And Sophia felt tears prick her eyes for no reason she could name. She found herself at a small soda tucked into a corner, barely 3 tables. The menu was handwritten on the chalkboard. Casado, olla de carne, and arroz con pollo. She ordered the casado and sat at a wobbly table, watching the market flow around her. A man with gray hair and a weathered face delivered her food.
Rice, beans, salad, plantains, and chicken that fell off the bone. It was simple. It was perfect.
You're not from around here.
No. Well, yes, I'm from Costa Rica, but I live in Escazú now.
Escazú. Fancy.
Sometimes too fancy.
Then why live there?
It was a good question. Why did she live there? Because Miguel's job was nearby. Because the schools were good. Because that's what success looked like. A big house in a nice neighborhood, removed from the noise and mess of real life. My husband. The man nodded knowingly.
Lots of people live lives for other people. Then one day they wake up and wonder where they went.
That's very philosophical for a Saturday lunch. He laughed, a deep rumble that came from his belly.
I'm 73 years old. I have owned this soda for 45 years. You see a lot from behind the counter. You see people's whole lives pass by and how they order food, whether they eat alone or together, whether they look happy or just look fed.
Which am I?
You look like you're searching, like you came to the market looking for something you lost. Hope you find it, mi amor.
The man moved on to another table, leaving Sophia with her casado and his words. She ate slowly, savoring each bite, feeling more present than she had in months. Her phone buzzed, Miguel asking when she'd be home. She ignored it. Let him wonder. Let him manage lunch for once. When she finally left the market, the rain had stopped and weak sunlight filtered through the clouds. She drove home slowly, taking back roads through Pavas and Rormoser, neighborhoods she'd lived in when she was younger, before marriage and mortgages. The houses looked the same, but smaller, like she'd outgrown them. Or maybe she'd just moved so far from who she used to be that even her old neighborhoods felt foreign. Miguel was waiting when she got home, the boys with him. They all had a strange expression. Worry? Confusion? Mateo ran to her.
Mama, Papa said you weren't answering your phone. We were worried.
Sophia hugged him, breathing in his sweaty boy smell. I'm fine, mi amor. I just went to the market.
The market? What market?
The Central Market in San Jose.
Why would you go there? It's dangerous. You could have been robbed.
I wasn't robbed, Miguel. I bought some culantro and ate lunch and had a nice time.
But you didn't answer your phone.
No, I didn't. Miguel looked at her like she'd announced she was running away to join the circus.
Sophia, you can't just disappear like that. We need to be able to reach you. What if something happened to the boys?
Did something happen to the boys?
No, but...
Then everything's fine. She walked past him into the house, still holding her bundle of culantro. In the kitchen, she put it in water, watching the green leaves float. Behind her, she could hear Miguel talking to the boys, his voice low and urgent. Probably telling them Mama was going through something. Mama was having a hard time. Mama needed space. All true, all inadequate.
That night, after the boys were in bed, Miguel tried again. He found her on the patio, wrapped in a blanket, watching the lights of San Jose twinkle in the valley below.
We need to talk.
Okay. He sat down beside her, keeping a careful distance.
I'm trying here, Sophia. I really am. But you're not giving me anything to work with. You're angry at me, but you won't tell me what I did wrong.
You didn't do anything wrong. That's part of the problem.
That doesn't make any sense.
I know, but it's true. You're a good husband by every conventional measure. You provide, you're faithful, you help with the boys. You're doing everything you're supposed to do.
But
I need more than I'm supposed to. I need you to want to know me, to be interested in my life, not just as it relates to yours, but as its own thing. I need you to see that I'm a person with thoughts and feelings and dreams that have nothing to do with you or the boys or this house.
I do see that.
Do you? Then tell me, what's my favorite book? Not from when we were dating, but now. What's my favorite book right now? Miguel hesitated.
You haven't mentioned a favorite book.
Because you haven't asked. What about my favorite movie? My biggest fear? What do I dream about when I can't sleep?
that's not fair.
We've been together for 16 years. We can't know everything about each other.
I'm not asking for everything. I'm asking for anything. I'm asking for you to be curious, to wonder who I am underneath the roles I play for you. Miguel was quiet for a long time. When he finally spoke, his voice was smaller than she'd ever heard it.
I thought we were happy.
I know you did.
And we're not?
I'm not. I don't know about you. You'd have to actually think about it instead of just assuming.
That's not fair either. I'm here. I'm trying to understand, but you keep moving the goalpost. First, it's about teaching, then it's about conversations, then it's about books and dreams. What do you actually want, Sophia?
I want to feel alive again. I want to feel like my life is mine, not just something I'm managing for everyone else's benefit. I want to go to poetry readings and paint terrible paintings and eat lunch at sodas in the Central Market. I want to take up space.
You can do all those things. I'm not stopping you.
But you're not encouraging it either. You're tolerating it like it's a phase I'll grow out of. You want me to have my little hobbies so I'll be happy enough to keep everything else the same. That's not enough anymore.
So what is enough? Do you want me to become someone that I'm not, start writing poetry and going to art galleries and pretending to care about things that don't interest me? Would that make you happy?
I want you to care about me, the real me, not the version that fits neatly into your life plan.
They sat in silence, the distance between them measured in more than inches. Somewhere in the neighborhood, a dog barked. A car drove by, bass thumping. Normal sounds of normal life, while theirs cracked apart.
Do you still love me?
Sophia thought about it, really thought about it. Yes, but I don't know if love is enough when we've forgotten how to like each other.
We can relearn.
Can we? Or are we just too different now? Maybe we grew into people who don't fit together anymore.
I don't believe that. People don't just stop fitting.
They do when they stop trying to fit in, when they get comfortable and lazy, and assume love means never having to grow or change.
Is that what you think I am? Comfortable and lazy?
I think we both are. I think we've been coasting for years, and I'm the only one who finally noticed.
Miguel stood abruptly.
I can't do this right now. I'm trying, Sophia, but nothing I do seems good enough. So maybe you should figure out what you actually want before you tear apart our entire family.
He went inside, leaving her alone with the city lights and her thoughts. Sophia pulled the blanket tighter and let herself cry. Not dramatically, not with sobs, just quiet tears running down her face. She was grieving, she realized, not for her marriage to die, but for all the years she'd spent half asleep, all the versions of herself she'd buried to make room for everyone else's needs. She was grieving the girl she'd been at 25, full of dreams and passion and certainty, and she was terrified of the woman she was becoming at 41, uncertain and searching, and demanding more from life, even though she had no idea what more looked like. The ring on her finger caught the patio light, the diamond Miguel had saved 3 months' salary to buy. She twisted it, felt its familiar weight. She thought about taking it off, about that moment of false freedom in her kitchen weeks ago, but she left it on, because this wasn't about symbols or gestures. It was about something deeper, something that couldn't be solved with rings or without them. Below her, San Jose breathed. Millions of lives being lived, millions of private dramas and joys and mundane moments adding up to a city. Somewhere out there, other women were probably having the same realization Sophia was having. Other marriages were cracking. Other people were waking up. She wondered if they'd find their way through, or if waking up was just the first step towards everything falling apart. She wondered if there was even a difference. Sophia sat on her patio until past midnight, wrapped in her blanket, watching her city breathe, feeling the pressure build inside her like lava seeking escape. The eruption was coming. She could feel it. The only question was whether anything would survive after the fire.
You have been listening to The Ring of the Fire, The Eruption Within a Marriage, written by Jason Stewart and narrated by Grace and Rodney.